excited today because we have a wonderful guest with us, Cindi Avery, and I'll talk to her in just a second, but wanted to just say hello to each and every one of you out there. And the reason that I asked Cindi to come speak with us today is she's had a couple amazing months whenever we've looked at the COVID times and this time of quarantine. She hasn't looked at it as a time of quarantine. She's looked at it as a time of growth and a way to expand not only her business, but her knowledge and how she can reach more people. As we started looking at that, she's used different platforms like Lindsay has shared with you this week, or if you're watching this back, maybe it was some time ago, but she's utilized platforms like Zoom that we're using here. And she's been able to expand her network as well as skill up in some very wonderful ways. I've asked her to come and join us here today to share some of those things and some of those tips and tricks that she's learned along the way, as well as some of the things that maybe she was nervous about, that she was worried about, and that she just kind of had to learn along the way. So Cindi, thank you so much for joining me today and being willing to just share with everyone that's out there some of your learnings, but even more so some of your victories that you've had. And so tell me just a little bit more, just except for the outside of quarantine, but how long have you been part of True Aura, or the let's just say the direct sales world?
I've been part of the direct sales world for 34 years.
34 years. So
think about it.
At 1 year old, you started in your direct sales business. Back in the day, they didn't have regulations on child labor, so she started at a very, very young age. And whenever you look at let's just talk about some of the products that we have. What are some of your favorite products that you use on a daily basis with True Aura?
BioLift. I use them all daily.
You use them all daily.
I'm a product purist and a junkie, so I use everything we have daily except Microderm. Only because Gary told me not to is the only reason I don't use it.
Or you would?
Or I would, yeah. But my favorite products are BioLift and the Night Repair Serum.
Right. That's wonderful.
I love the Night Repair Serum so much I actually use it twice a day. Under the day serum in the daytime.
There you go. That's wonderful. And so whenever you're selling and talking to your customers, knowing what your favorite products are, what do you sell the most of?
I sell the most of basic skincare because I tell them that that's where they need to start.
Basic skincare is where you start a new customer off with.
Yes, yes.
And so for those that are just kind of joining us, what does the basic skincare look like?
The core four, that's the cleanser, the toner, the day cream, and the night cream. And I do have a lot of people who first-time buyers who will add the eye cream and the BioLift.
Right. So it's 6 total that they're utilizing. Well, that's wonderful. I think that core 4, for those who don't know, she just named those, and that's a great place to start. And in fact, whenever I have to admit, those 6 products that she just mentioned, they were set on my desk in the office back when we could go to an office. And I looked at them and I had a immediate sense of, there was multiple emotions that I had. One being shame. Why shame? Because I had no idea what to do with them. And as I've told people, and I've shared this on calls with Cindi, I'm a bougie guy. I like my fancy stuff, but I had never really had a skincare routine. And I walked over to Rick. I was like, Rick, can you come help me? Because I had those 6, I was like, I don't even know where to start with this. And so if you're out there and you're like, I'd love to add new customers in, part of that is a little bit of the education process. But then the first education process is just helping somebody where to start. And those core 4 are really pretty simple on where to start, and you'll start seeing those results pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. And so whenever you're talking with your clients, how fast are you following up with a new customer on a regular, like if somebody gets product and it gets to them, how soon are you reaching out to figure out, are they liking the results? Or what is the follow-up process?
Within just a few days. Like, I try to track when they get their product. A lot of my customers don't go in and order themselves. They have me order it for them. So I can log into their account. So I go in and see when it's supposed to be delivered. And
Right.
so I'll usually send them a text that night. I see your products were delivered. I can't wait to hear how you like them. So a lot of times they will tell me that night. I'll get a text, sometimes with a question, sometimes saying, so far so good, I like this.
Okay. And so whenever you say you sign into their account, let's make this as simple as possible. Like how do you do that?
Well, they don't want to set up the account. So I set them up with a password, let's see, a login and a password. And I keep it very simple. Like, if I set you up, your login would be Philip.
Yep.
Maybe Philip Y. You know,
Yep.
I keep it real easy depending on, I just wanted something that I can remember, and I do write it down. And then I would probably put your password as Knox, because you could remember it and I could remember it.
Right. And that's my little dog who's running around here somewhere. Well, he's back there on the couch. You can actually kind of see him. He's back there somewhere. Well, wonderful. So you're setting that up, and you're able to keep a close eye on
Yes.
when their products are coming in. You can also go back. If you do you keep like a spreadsheet with everybody's login and password, or
I do.
okay, pretty simple.
Yes. I actually exported all my TLCs from the back office
Right.
into Excel, and then I just went in and I just, when I get a new client, I just add them and put their, you know.
And so Cindy,
I can't remember all that. I have to write it down.
yeah, I was going to say, so let's talk about customer base right now. And just off the top of your head, how many customers would you say that you probably have with TrueAura?
150 maybe.
About 150. Wow. And out of those 150, about how many TLCs do you have?
Not as many as I should, maybe 25.
So 25. So you're really looking at about 20% of your total customer base is actually in TLC.
Yes.
How many, what's your goal on TLC? How many TLCs would you like to have? Realistically. Like
Well,
1,000.
I would like to have 2,500 in sales. My goal is to be paid at my level by the 5th of every month. I've never met that goal, but that's my goal.
And what would be the easiest way to be to do that?
Well, for me to have, well, actually, I can do that on my TLCs now, because all I have to be paid at is 800 in sales and 6 online clients. So
Right.
that usually happens by the 5th of every month.
So why? So you have 25. How many?
I have 2,500 a month in TLCs by the 5th of the month.
And on average, how many would that take?
Well, I believe 18 TLCs a
Per
month
month.
will give you 2,500 in sales. That's
Exactly.
140 or 120 with just the core 4, I think.
Yeah, just the core 4 at 120s. So 18 per month. So, and if you're doing it every 60 days, for those that need the help on the math, that's 36 TLCs. So if you're really looking at that, and sometimes whenever you look at that big TLC number of 36, it can be overwhelming. And so whenever you look at those big goals that you have out there, so you'd like to have maybe 11, 12 more TLCs, that's still quite a few, but you're not going to get them all in 1 month.
No.
So what is your goal on a monthly? Are you trying to add 1 or 2, maybe 3 TLCs per month?
Yes, I am. Actually, I'd like to add a few more this month with the extra 20% off, but I don't usually share TLC at a beauty break.
Okay.
So
tell me a little bit more.
Well,
what would be the?
For one thing, I want my hostess to get just as much as she can in product. So
Okay.
if the client is a TLC, that lowers her volume that she has to count toward her party. And I also see the TLC as TrueAura Loyalty Club. It is a perk for a customer who comes back to you. So
Right.
I don't always share that with somebody when I first meet them. Now, when we first started, I had a lot of clients who I told about TLC immediately, because they were coming with me,
Right.
staying with me from the other company. And, you know, when I didn't really have a company. So I wanted to do something for them. But when I first meet a client, I don't necessarily start them out on TLC. There's two schools of thought on that. And that's my school of thought. Reward them when you call them back and they place a, you know, $140 order. Say, listen, I have a deal for you if you are interested.
Especially once they start really liking the product.
Yes.
So to get signed up on a subscription, like in that subscription type model, you're usually not going to do that from the very beginning. You want to try it out first, see if you like it, see the results. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wow, I can get an extra. And so for those who don't know, the TLC gets how much off per on each order?
15%.
And then this month, you touched on it. What does the TLC get this month, or even a retail customer for that matter?
20% discount.
An additional 20% off for TLC.
Or the TLC or the retail price. So
right, that's which is fantastic. And so whenever you're looking at a month like this month, the Customer Appreciation Month, how important is that for your overall business to be able to utilize that kind of discount for someone, of building your customer base?
It's huge. It's huge because a lot of consultants don't feel comfortable calling clients.
Right.
I've done this so long, I have absolutely no problem calling them. Just, you know, I'm just checking in. How's everything working? Do you have any questions? Sometimes it's a very short conversation or text or whatever. But they are very excited this month when I call with the news of you can get a 20% discount.
That's fantastic. And so what about building new customer base as well?
I've got to get me some hostesses to build me a new customer base. I build my customer base by being out in the community and going to things, and COVID has kind of messed me up.
Yeah, I think it's messed a lot of us up, and you're definitely, are you an I on that disc profile?
Yes.
Shocking. I'm right there with you. I'm an I with this D support. But it is. COVID has really messed a lot of that up. But so whenever we start looking at a very social business, and that carries me into really what we're here to talk about today, is a social business, and how can you get into and have people hosting parties for you and be in their living room without being in their living room. We've had some trainings from Lindsay Tompkins that I know that you've really enjoyed, and you kind of heard a few of those. Maybe the first one was 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I don't know if it spurred thought with you, or you are already ready to start doing some Zoom parties to where you can get face to face with people without being belly to belly with them.
Right.
And this is really how we can, this is our new world that we're living in this direct sales world, but you've embraced it.
Yes.
So whenever you started looking at Zoom as a platform to use, what was the reasoning for it?
Well, the first time that I used Zoom as a platform, I started very small. I started with my current customer base, and it was when BioLift came out. And I said, I have a new product. I want to show it to you. There was a discount in February on BioLift.
Right.
There's a discount. Meet me on Zoom. So I had to send them directions on Zoom.
So this was before COVID.
This was before COVID, because I had consultants who were far away from me, but I needed to teach them how to do a beauty break. And so I had to do it on Zoom, on a social platform other than Facebook, because I saw the value in the interaction with people, or I thought I did.
I love that.
Just from doing team Zooms, just a monthly Zoom for us with my team, for us to chat and recognition and that kind of thing.
Because you've been using Zoom for team connection for a while now.
Yes, I have. So I invited my clients. Invited everybody. Only 5 people responded. Like, I got messages back of, oh, Cindy, I can't do that technology stuff. Just call me. So I did. But anyway, I had 5 that said, yes, I would love to try this on Zoom. Like, you're going to show me how to use the product. I said, yes. And this is very important. I will be able to see you, and you will be able to see me. They need to know that they're going to be on camera, because if they're not, it's kind of shocking for them. So, you know, I believe just tell them what you expect and then they'll be on camera. So I was supposed to have 5 people. The first one was a Zoom. One person texted me that something had come up with her child and she couldn't be on. 2 people were on there at 8:30, just like clockwork. I'm getting a text from one lady, I can't get on, and then the phone rings. Well, of course, the 2 Zoom participants can hear the phone ring. So one of them, these ladies all kind of knew each other. So one of them said, Cindy, I bet you that's Becky, because I got a message from her that she couldn't get on. So I looked and it was Becky. So I said, well, let me answer so she won't think I'm ignoring her. So I said, Becky, our friends are on the Zoom and they know this is you on the phone. And she's like, oh my gosh, can they hear me? I'm like, no, but they can hear me talking to you. So she's like, oh my goodness, just call me when you get off. So out of 5 people, I only had 2.
So you had 2. So you reached out to a bunch. You had 5 that said that they would show up, and then
Yes.
2 did.
2
And
did.
then what did that look like?
Well, you know, they're like, can you hear me? It was, you just have to do it with a few people. to start with.
Yeah. So what value did it have for you, and what value did it have for them?
Well, we had a great time. We were laughing and cutting up, and I'm like, okay, let me take my makeup off and show you how to use this product. And I showed them the dropper, and, you know, one of them's like, you need to order me one of those tonight. Like, I need that. And
So
I
there you go.
had a before and after that I don't even remember who did it, because we had not had the product long, but somebody had posted a before and after, and I literally held it up and said, this is what this can do for you.
And obviously they both kind of jumped on that.
Yeah.
And so whenever you look at it, what I would say is the true value of probably that first call was that you learned. You started, you put yourself out there. Some people would consider it that it was not a success because you only had 2 people show up. I've always been a proponent of show up for one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even show up just for yourself sometimes, because at least you went through the process of sending the link to people and different stuff like that. And since I know that you have a huge background in IT and that you're just a tech whiz, you're just a tech whiz, this all came so natural to you.
Yes. Yes.
And I am joking. She is not an IT background.
Not.
And so whenever you, obviously there was probably some nerves whenever you decided to start using Zoom to reach out to clients. How did you learn? How did you learn through this? We obviously didn't have Lindsay then back in February and March as you're doing these. How did you learn?
I Googled, how do you use Zoom? And there are just a ton of YouTube videos on how to use Zoom.
And what is Google? So
it's a search engine that will
there
rock
you
your
go.
world.
And I got to tell you, I think I use Google like it's going out of style. Like it's my most used thing on my phone, on my iPad, on my computer. I am constantly in search for information on how to do things. I don't know how to do a lot of things, but Google does. And it's a wonderful resource, as well as you mentioned YouTube. So how do you use YouTube there? Is it, do you just plug into Google and then go look at videos?
Exactly.
So there's like a little tab at the top where you can click videos and it'll just answer any question you pretty much need.
Google, how do you, whatever, usually something from YouTube will show up in your search.
Right.
And you can see that it's YouTube, and you just click on the link and watch it.
And then what's the most important thing after you watch those videos and you gather the information? What would you say is the most important thing, next step?
Just do it. Call a few friends and say, I need to try this out. Will you help me?
Right.
I mean, that's basically what I did with the bio lift. I'd like to try this on a Zoom. Will you help me?
Wonderful. And so,
that's bad that only 5 people would help me.
No, but then, but you had, let's fast forward to just 3 or 4 weeks ago. You had a Zoom recently, and there's some new platforms that you're able to use within Zoom. One of those being the Breakout Rooms.
Yes.
And obviously, it wasn't something that you were real clear on, but you've you've become more of a master at it now of being able to use those. And I'm sure so what is a breakout room and how can you use it in those living room settings where, first let's set the table. How many consultants do you have on your Zooms usually that are on your team or people that you know? And then how many customers are on these Zoom parties?
Well, I've been using the Zoom parties mainly for my team. Now we're about to broach into a new area of a hostess having a beauty break, but I started out with the team because I wanted to show them how to do it for their customers. So we would have a Zoom beauty break. Sometimes we'd have a theme. Sometimes it would just be, basic skincare. But we did makeup sometimes. We did the sale products in May. This month
so like the 7 or 8 sales products that were on sale in May.
On sale in May.
And so you invited multiple consultants to come to this on your team,
yes.
And then had them invite people. So it was a self-hosted party.
That's right. And sometimes a consultant would have one guest. Sometimes she'd have 5 or 6. We even have a few groupies, I call them, that come to everything we do.
Yeah, and just show up.
Okay, they keep buying stuff, so yeah, we're delighted to see them.
And so whenever you have a big kind of everybody together that's on this gallery view, you can see everybody's face. They're watching you do a product demonstration, whether it's makeup, whether it's skincare, whatever it might be. You explain the details, explain if there's like a deal on it, whatever, those type things. How long does that usually last?
Well, when we had the 7 products, we tried to do it in like 25, 30 minutes.
Okay, so pretty quick. It's not like your typical in-home party where 3 hours later you're like, see you later.
No, because people get tired on a Zoom. They don't want to sit there.
So your goal is 20 to 30 minutes in that range for the product and everyone.
With skincare, let's see, the last one I did, it took me 30 minutes just to do the, I didn't do everything. I did the core 4 and then the 8 anti-aging products. So,
and then how many consultants did you have and how many clients?
Well, this was actually just for me and my clients. Okay. And I had 6 new people on there that I had met.
6 new.
Mm-hmm.
And you had never met them?
Some
you might have.
Purchased True Aura. I had a relationship with all of them on Facebook. Like we were in a group together. I have been going to some exercise classes on Zoom. And so I meet people, they're like, you're always dressed up. And I'm like, you just think I'm dressed up because I have on earrings and lipstick. I have on exercise clothes just like you do. And they're
so these are like exercise, like a yoga class or something on Zoom. Yes. And you meet somebody there and say, hey, if you're familiar with this, you should come try out what I do for.
Yes. Just people like one lady was in a networking group for people who have a business. Some of them are home-based, some of them are, brick and mortar. And so now people are saying, I have no money, my business is closed. So I posted in that group, I'm having a beauty break, which is what I call a party with my company. If you want to see what I do, let me know and I'll invite you. You can send you the link and you can watch me. One lady was from that. One lady, I don't know how I met her. She was in my client group and had never bought. So
you just put yourself out there and whoever comes. And if it's 2 people or if it's 20 people, it doesn't matter. It's still the same process.
That's right.
And so whenever you started doing this, were there some fears that you had of doing it the right way or messing it up?
And I found that when I didn't do it, like when I made mistakes, like one night, I don't know what happened, but it was like a domino effect. I went to reach for a bottle and I knocked everything over. So I was, and they all laughed, the people all laughed, and I'm like, and you know what? Not one product spilled. I did not waste a single product with this mishap. And so I was talking to my daughter and I'm like, she had a potential recruit on there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I knocked all the bottles over. And she's like, Mom, it's okay. It just made you look like a real person.
There you go.
And it made me think, well, heck, I can do this. My mama even knocks the bottles over. So.
Well, that's wonderful. And so whenever you looked at the breakout session, so if you had 20 minutes to talk about the product and kind of give a product demonstration on things, and let's look at it 2 different ways. you had a Zoom where it was just you and your clients. And then what Lindsay's talked about is kind of like a valet checkout.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so what is a valet checkout?
That is where we help them with their order.
So like a one-on-one.
Yes.
This would be like almost going to the dining rooms
Absolutely.
at a party in somebody's house saying, hey, come over here and let's sit down one-on-one.
Right. So I say, now I know we've shown you a lot of products. Your head is probably spinning. So we don't want you going to the website and thinking, oh, what did she talk about? So we want to help you make sure you get the products that you want. So now that I used to say, consultants, text your guest the times that you're available so that we can give them valet checkout. But now I say there's a new feature on Zoom, or it's new to me, I don't think it's new, called a breakout room. So I'm going to create a room for every consultant on here. So clients, while I'm creating these rooms, you and your consultant message, and whoever wants to be the first one, y'all let me know and I'll put y'all in a room. So I give the clients a little time to send the consultants a little time to send the clients the times that they can check them out. And so I'm setting the rooms up and I can hear them talking. I don't mute it. I can hear everybody.
Yeah, because they're still talking back and forth.
That's right. And so there's a little button at the bottom that says breakout room, and you click it and you type the consultants' names. So when I get the names in, I say, consultants, I have your rooms created and I'm going to send you the link. So go ahead and get in your room and let me know which client to put in there. And then I say, ladies, we only have ladies on there so far. There's going to be a message that pops up to go in that room. You have to click the message to enter the room. You have to click yes, because I can't get you in there.
Accept or yes. Something.
Yes. And so they click, and sometimes they're like, where's the message? And the first night I'm like, I don't know. I've never received it. I just send it. I don't know where to tell you it's going to be.
And so I love that, because there's some vulnerability and transparency that you have there with your attendees of like, it's like the first time that you did it, you were probably a little nervous of like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing here, but bear with me.
Yes. And then when I couldn't get them to accept, and the one consultant was in the room, and I popped in to tell her that I couldn't get her customer to accept. And she's like, Cindy, I'm in here all by myself. I'm like, I know, I can't get your client in here. And she's like, well, we're texting back and forth. And I said, okay, let me go out and tell her to accept the link. So when I go back out, the client says, Cindy, I'm working on an order. I'm talking to Rose, and I'm like, I know, we need to get you in the room so y'all can verbally talk. And she said, I'm working on an order, but I think I just want to join y'all. So I said, okay, don't submit that order if you think you want to join us. We need to talk to you.
It's amazing whenever you can make something so simple, and that people can see the vision and the platforms that you're using, and, you can do this in person, you can do it online, you can have this virtual party as well, that it clicks in somebody's mind of like, I think I could do this, or this might be a wonderful way. And so don't close the door to people that this could be a wonderful opportunity for them to earn an income. And so whenever you run into people like that, what is their feedback? Because I would imagine you talk to a lot of people that, whether it's a partner or themselves, that have lost income or lost a job. What value can TrueAura bring, and what solution can TrueAura have in these times?
Well, it can be very valuable. I really haven't shared this too much because so many people are in such a bad place financially. You don't want to be that girl that's like, I've made more money since COVID than I was making before COVID. This is great. I mean, you do want to say that, but you don't want to say it in a flippant way like that. You just want to slide. They're like, how's your business? And I'm like, my business is really good.
And so whenever you say your business is really good, have you had a couple of your best months?
Yes, we have.
And so
we haven't had the best month ever, but I mean, we've had a couple of months that were higher in volume, But I would venture to say last month we probably had our biggest recruiting month.
Biggest recruiting month,
Yes.
as well as I would say probably over a 1 quarter span. It's probably one of your best quarters that you've had.
It's been good.
Yeah.
It's been very
So,
good.
well, congratulations. I'm happy for you. And
Not good enough. Don't misunderstand me.
I got to tell you though, and that's what drives you is it doesn't matter. You're always stretching for something else, but you didn't just flip a switch, did you? It was really doing small behaviors, and those small behaviors kind of built on top of each other. It wasn't like you said, you go back to February and 2 people showed up.
Yes.
And you kept doing them. It wasn't going, well, only 2 people showed up, I'm never doing this again. You believed in it without seeing the results, right?
Well, I had pretty good results. Like I had to call one lady after I got off the Zoom and she bought a bio lift. One client said, order me one right then. And then even the people that didn't show up for the Zoom, they were asking me about the bio lift. And
Okay.
So it creates activity. And that's what my consultants have said. Even though the people I invite can't come to that Zoom, they've said, are y'all going to do this again? Let me know when you have another one. So it gives you a list to keep of people to invite when you have something.
And then you're really good at follow-up. What is some of the advice that you would give to people that aren't using follow-up on a regular basis?
Well, I have a very sophisticated method, and this is it. I write it down on a sheet of paper. I write it in my calendar, like,
Right.
If next week, if I need to call somebody, I write them on the day I want to call them. And if they say mornings are better for me, I write them in on the, before noon part of my calendar to call them.
And then how did you get over on the follow-up side of feeling like you were overstepping boundaries, or maybe that you felt pushy?
Well, first of all, you need to make sure that they open the box and are using the product.
Right.
And, I hate to bring it up, but, we've had a little pump issue. So we need to know that, because you can fix that pump issue usually pretty simply just by talking to your client.
Right.
So I just kind of address it up front. Hey, just want to make sure your pumps are working like they should. And, they'll usually say, as a matter of fact, one of my pumps did quit working. So I'm like, look, just hold that sucker straight up, whack it on your counter hard, turn it upside down, give it a few pumps. If that doesn't work, call me. And I'll get text late at night, Cindy, that worked like a charm, or early in the morning. That worked perfectly. Thank you so much. So
that's great.
There's.
So and you've shared so many little nuggets of truth, and I appreciate that. But one of the things that I just love that just getting to know you and understanding how you work your business is it's that Nike method of just do it.
That's right.
You see that wall and you just kind of run through it and figure it out along the way. And I just wanted to say I appreciate you and what you're doing. And I'm going to put a little product pack together to be able to send to you. And to say thank you for meeting with me and answering some of my questions. And I'm sure some of yours out there as well. And is there anything else that you'd like to share with everyone out there, whether it's on recruiting, whether it's on new products, or this month, how to capitalize on some of those specials that we have?
Just share. Just call people, text them, email them, however they like to be communicated with. Make sure they know about the sale, because people don't read email like they once did. I can't tell you how many texts I've sent out. Hey, just making sure you get 20% off on True Aura this month.
And how many people out of those came back to you and didn't know?
Oh, I would say I haven't really kept a record of. I do have a record because I printed out a list of all my clients so I could contact everybody, but I didn't count that before we started. Over half of the people I've messaged. So
half the people that you've messaged, out of 150 clients, you're looking at close to 75 people that had no idea that there was a 20% off.
Well, not quite that many, because I haven't contacted them
all of them, but let's just say just an arbitrary number even. So what I'm telling you out there that is listening to this is Do not assume that your customer knows that there's 20% off. You are the conduit and the communicator to them so that they know. Don't rob them the opportunity to save 20%, because right now, $20 in your pocket, $25. Like if you look at the core four, if somebody's going to buy those core four and it's $125, $120, there's $25 that they're saving. And in these times, $25 goes along, can really help a week's budget, can help the month's budget, whatever that might look like. So don't rob them that opportunity.
On the last beauty break that I did, I showed, my goal was to show the 8 products. That's what I told y'all. After I pulled up my sticky note here, I realized that's not true, because I take my makeup off when I do a beauty break usually.
Okay.
And show them how to use the product. So I said I was going to just show y'all the skincare, but I can't do that because I use the eye makeup remover. I can't take my makeup off without the eye makeup remover. And so I use the mist and the lip balm too. And those products, the mist, the lip balm, the repair products, eye cream, $533 is the retail.
Wow.
Now, I did share the TLC on this particular beauty break because I had some clients on there. If they bought all the products as a TLC, the price was $362.46. They saved $170.54. So I had 3 people to say, I can't do this until I get paid, but I want that 20% offset where I saved $170.
Wow.
Only one person has bought that so far, but I mean, this is just the 11th of the month. This just happened.
Well, Cindi, again, thank you so much for sharing with us today. And thank you for taking the time to watch and listen, and hopefully overcome some of the boundaries that you have in your own business, and understand that really what it takes is just the willingness to just do it, figure it out on the way. You don't have to be a person of perfection. In fact, this is an imperfect industry, and those who are more imperfect in what we do, it makes it seem more doable for others. So understand you can learn along the way. You don't have to have all the answers. And when you don't have the answers, two assets that are right at your fingertips are Google and YouTube. They'll teach you a lot. And Cindi, I really do appreciate you, and congratulations again on a wonderful month. And it's only the 11th, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the rest of the month has in store for you. You have a wonderful day, and we'll talk soon.